And we're going to talk about now the Zero Tolerance ZT 0804 Rexford CF. Discontinued. What? Why didn't you review it before, nutnfancy? You guys know why. You don't like me saying the reason why, but guys will always ask. If you're asking, the reason why is because not that many guys show up for the KRVs. That's why. If I log on and I see 100,000 views on KRVs, I will put more out than you can stand. Trust me. Trust me. But when they have a low take rate, that's why. So anyway, so I'm getting around to it. We've spent money on it, so it's got to get to tabletop. You can still find them. They're still around. You might have to go to different sources. Maybe some retailers have them. I think Blade HQ is sold out of them. I'll put a link below. But it's a really cool blade. You might ask the question too, if it's so cool, why did they discontinue it? They do that a lot with the ZT line. You know this. I'm sure the Kershaw forums talk all about it. I don't go to forums. I don't sell the project in forums. You guys know that. Don't. So I don't know. I don't know what the discussions are. I'm ignorant of that. But I'm sure there's a lot of discussion as to why. And maybe, I don't know, folks at ZT, Kershaw can tell you why. All I'm going to do is look at the knife, tell you about its details, maybe slap down a little POU on it, and maybe be slightly sad that it was discontinued, because this is a great blade, dudes. A great blade. I like the shape. I like its looks. I like its materials, its fit and finish. It's excellent. Is it a tactical blade? Nutnfancy. I would say slightly on the side of yes. I'm a big traction guy. If I'm going to apply a knife, you know where. Emergency defensive tool. And for that, I want good top traction, jimping, thumb ramp, good bottom traction, and protective features. It does have that. So I would say yeah, because it does envelop the hand like we've seen with some other designs. Cold steel comes to mind. So do we have hand protection in an emergency defensive task? As a police officer, military member, civilian sheepdog, heaven forbid, what I've said for 12 years here in the project. I think collectible, especially now that it's discontinued, dudes. Yeah, it's going to go up in price. I don't think a lot up, but I think demand will always be there, and I think it is for a lot of the ZT blades that are discontinued. Even this Todd Rexford ZT collaboration. I think the price is going to go up. EDC blade, not for me, thank you very much. It's just too big for me. Too heavy, too at 5 ounces for an EDC blade. Insert standard criticism on my likes for weight. Let me say this too, it's so funny. I mean, I'm wearing a lightweight watch right now, still this one, boop. But I do wear big heavy watches, so I'm a little bit of a hypocrite for SAWC when it comes to watches. But for a knife, I'm like, it's 5 ounces. I know. Gotcha. 5 ounces, by the way, for the record, isn't that much. It's pretty decent, especially for a really well-built frame lock like this. POU done. Feel, we've talked about the ergos, the tactical application, perhaps. Really good feel. I don't see any hot spots beveling on the handle scales. Really nice job on it, actually, in this frame lock. It's just really nice. Feel is excellent. Steel is something I don't have a lot of experience in. In fact, this might be the first ever. The CTS 204P. I hear it's like M390 LMAX, somewhat like S30V. I haven't hard used it, and I'm not going to hard use this because I'm going to turn it. This is going to be a flipper. I'm not flipper design, but I'm going to flip it and get some money. I don't know, all my money out of it. That's the plan, subject to change. Maybe I just love it so much I just keep it as a cast member. This would be a cool cast member, though, to show this one. The only downside is that it was discontinued. So I usually like to have cast members, if at all possible, be in current production. So if someone shows up at the KRV and they go, wow, I really like that alternative, then go out and buy it. That to me is a good tie-in, if you will. I like that option if I can. Blade shape is perfection. Just a classic drop point, unsharpened swedge on the top. Really beautiful. DLC coded, I believe. CTS 204P. You can see the markings on the blade. Let me let that focus so you can totally see them. There we go. How about the edge? Unofficial. Perfection. I wouldn't mess with that edge at all. It's totally perfect. speed. Most of the ZT designs, the one I've brought to table, are really fast. They're really high-end knives. They're production knives for sure, and they are the best that Kershaw puts together for sure, with a military slant, tactical application slant. They should be fast, right? I think the action on this 0804 is phenomenal. I really couldn't improve it at all. Look at the stop pin. Phosphor bronze bushings in there. How's the flipper? I'm big on this, by the way. It's kind of a pet peeve of mine. I don't like flippers that have a sharp edge, and what do you know? This one kind of has a sharp edge. So it's going to get a little ding with that. Right here is a really sharp transition, if you can see it. Maybe you guys don't care. You can work with gloves nicely. Lockup, totally solid, no big surprise. Centering, retention, perfect. You shake it out. Totally. Lockup and strength are superb, therefore. From what I know about it, handle construction I've kind of talked about already. Luckily, though, we're not seeing steel liners in there. I didn't really mention that. And that is a pet peeve of mine. So these are solid CF handle slabs, which I totally love. Handle construction. Well, on this side, I called it a handle scale, and that is actually incorrect. It is a slab of CF that is not steel lined on the non-lock bar side. So well done, Todd Rexford. I really love that. This, of course, is the frame lock side with a steel insert. There's your timing. See some detemp balls in there. Really a nice design. I mean, the handle execution is phenomenal. Here's your clip. Not super deep carry. I've said that about a lot of frame locks. I don't know what it is. It's almost like a frame lock. Everyone insists they carry higher out of pocket. I would like this to be almost a loop over clip with high traction side, because I don't think this CF provides it. I'd actually put on skateboard tape, as you've seen me do multiple times. Let's see if I have an example. I've got this Microtech on the table, but it's not wearing my skateboard mod. You've seen some others. I've shown them to you before. It's a faster way to get it out of pocket. Lanyard hole here if you want to. And yes, I do that. Here's that Cold Steel Code 4. I've got a lanyard on that one. And it's a faster way to extract it, just as a thought. I love the handle, though. It's cool. Reversible clip. I didn't mention that. Thankfully tip up the way God intended it to be. Says me, always and forever. So I would say ergonomically, although no jimping and no thumb ramp, that's a big miss, like I've said, is pretty excellent. I talked about the clip. Durability will be excellent, and the price maybe not so excellent. And I have been talking about this a little bit in some other KRVs, like this one right here. $245. It is U.S. produced, though, and I've always maintained that when it's made in the United States, it's just going to cost more, dudes. I think most knife buyers are totally okay with that. They don't mind. This is a we-produced knife. It was $125. It has every bit the level of quality this one does, although it's not a CF design. This is a solid titanium handle. It's a Crux by Ferrum Forge, cast member at this point. Beautiful speed, delivery. 4.2 ounces. It's a great knife. Let's just see size-wise how it compares. So it's a smaller knife. This is a perfect EDC knife. Near perfect. That's what I said in that video. Not a tactical blade. So $245 is what we're talking about there. I think it's doable. I mean, I've brought other ZT knives like the Hinderer to the table, and what was it, $2 1/4? I was like, worth it. U.S. produced knife, great materials. The CTS 204 I think will serve you well. I think it's going to be a high durability knife. In those rare instances, like I always say, of people who actually use it. What do you mean? I just don't think a lot of guys are going to go out and spend $250 for a knife and put it into hard use. I never see it in gear checks. You know, maybe you just go with a Cold Steel Code 4. I mean, look how slim this is, dudes. It's got good steel, clip blade, 4.2 ounces. Comes in different variations. This is a great knife. Well, I think it's a little bit slower into action. This is a triad lock, by the way. Stronger design if you ask me. This is going to be faster into action with the flipper design. There's no way to, you know, wave this from the pocket, but I'm showing this in terms of value of what guys would actually hard use. That's what I'm seeing. And that's if they spring for this, because this is not a super inexpensive knife, the Code 4. Not that it's a direct competitor, it's not, but it's just what I have available. Guys, usually worker guys, like tradespeople, they won't spend $100 on a knife. No way. They're going to spend maybe 25 bucks, abuse it, maybe lose it, and replace it when they have to. I think this is mostly going to be a collectible for dudes. As a tactical blade, it would not be my first choice because, again, I'm going to whine about this a little bit. Assuming I'm some type of operator, like a police officer, I'm using a broad sense of operator, police officer, military operator, civilian sheepdog, and without rule of law, I'm carrying a lot more than a knife is my point. I'm not going to take a 5-ounce knife. It ain't going to happen, dudes. There's no way. I'll take a, you know, a 3.8-ounce knife. That's me. That's what I'll do, and that's what I've always done. But as far as quality, execution, blade design, sharpness level, the speed, the lockup, the balance, everything is really, really squared away on this knife. And it should be for the price and because it does wear the banner of zero tolerance. It's kind of sad it's discontinued. And I hope I'm wrong on that, but I don't think I am. I think it's gone. That's Dad's T38 patch, by the way, in case you're wondering. Nothing.